6:16 now. Was a rumbly night for most of us. Are we in store for something like that again?
Everybody's still talking about the lightning show we had last night around downtown Cleveland. Vivid lightning. We are not dealing with nearly as much lightning at this hour, but we still have rain to talk about. There's a look at the radar right now, and you can see that it's rather spotty as far as the coverage of the rain and a few rumbles that are going on. But for the most part, there's a lot of dry air out there, too. Look at this trajectory, though, coming into downtown Cleveland. That's a little bit of a problem for the tribe, so I've been chatting back and forth with them, kind of hoping to hit into some drier air, hopefully not dealing with too much of a delay as we go through the evening. But certainly, we do have some heavy downpours going on. I had one of my Twitter tweet me from Avon, let me know he was seeing 9-inch-per-hour rain rates on his weather station. So that's basically calculating how intense the rainfall is. That is unbelievably heavy rain. So very heavy downpours continue to fall. Just coming into North Ridgeville right now, down toward Eaton Estates and over toward Columbia Township. Once you go over the border then toward Berea, Olmsted Falls, we're getting into some of that. Then you can see these lighter showers here. Don't be fooled. This is close to the radar, so things get a little garbled, but it is definitely raining here. Rocky River, Fairview Park, Cam's Corners, and then right over into the east side of Cleveland, dealing with some of the showers too. It's been fading a little bit as it's moving in, but we have been dealing with some heavy rain from time to time. And again, haven't seen too much in the way of the lightning with all of this, but we have been seeing some flashes. Look back here toward Oberlin, another heavy downpour that's going to continue eastbound as well as just east of Norwalk. And there's more where this is coming from. A lot of this, however, is sitting north, not so much south. We have seen just a few of these scattered showers and rumbles farther south. Look at down here into Ashland right now. That'll head over toward Mifflin. And then once you get into western sections of Stark County, out around the Massillon area, getting a little shower that's bubbling up. And then here in Canton and over toward the Louisville area. We also have a batch of heavier showers right now in southern sections of Geauga County. That's going to go due eastbound toward Cortland and then maybe up toward the Orwell and Hartsgrove areas too in Ashtabula County. So certainly things are popping and bubbling, and we are dealing with another hot and humid day today. The center of our storm system is way to the west of us, so we are stuck in this. And as far as the humidity goes, that's not going to be changing. The dry air is way out to the west, and even though we have all this humidity, it's kind of pooling right over the state of Ohio, and that's why we continue with these muggy conditions. One thing we don't have is a lot of wind flow, so unfortunately, that means we get to deal with more of the same as we go through the day tomorrow. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, more scattered rain and storms. I put it about a 60% chance for tomorrow with temperatures in the low 80s. We'll go back to mid-80s on Thursday with partly cloudy skies, pop-up storm chances in the afternoon, about 20% or so, and then afternoon pop-ups on Friday. We hit the weekend with chances for rain and rumbles lingering. No real rhyme or reason yet as to timing or placement of all of that. Time will tell, but right now we still have to plan on at least a chance for rain over the weekend.
Some of that humidity sticking around as well?
We're just kind of stuck right now.
All these bad hair days are really getting to be a problem, Betsy, for me.
I did get a new banana clip, straight from the 1980s. So
she's figured out a workaround.
I'm very excited.
Wow.
It's sad but true.
I like it. Thanks, Betsy.
Thank you, Betsy.